So I have with me today Christine Murner. Welcome to 38%. And I'd like to start by just asking you a little bit, just kind of have you introduce yourself and talk about what you're doing now.
Great. Thank you so much. I'm thrilled to be here. I am working for a company, an industrial company that makes filtration media, which is the performance part of like when you go to Jiffy Lube, when they show you what's in your car or what's on the masks right now, which is super on everyone's mind with protective equipment. And we make the component of those that actually filters out viruses or air and service a bunch of different industries. I'm the North American sales manager, so I have a team of people that support customers that are manufacturing that product into the devices that normal people listening to would be using or seeing in their normal everyday life.
All right, great. So really the point of this chat is to build the awareness of how few kids are actually playing sports today. So only 38% of kids 9 to 13 are playing youth sports. And really the goal of Every Kid Sports is to change that. And so what I'd love to hear from you is just kind of your sports background. Like, what did you grow up playing? And, just share a little bit about your background with sports.
Yeah, so I think I grew up in a different time in a different place. So I grew up in the 9 to 13 category, like always being outside playing kickball or unorganized but naturally occurring sports in the street, right? That doesn't happen anymore. It was in a world before play dates where you rode your bike and you left at 9 a.m. and you got back at 3 or 4. But in the early days, I was really involved in kind of natural pickup kind of sports, boys and girls together, and was really one of the fewer, like there were a few girls in my neighborhood that were in those kinds of activity, but I was in the exception. It was a little bit different to be in that activity, not in more female related. Once I got to organized sports, I played soccer and I ran track and cross country in middle school and high school. And although soccer for women is really very much entrenched and seems very normal now, it was really cutting edge then. To have organized athletic leagues for girls only was pretty surprising. So athletics have always been kind of part of my growing up and part of my socialization. And in college, I continued to be athletically fit. I ran, I did a lot of things, but I wasn't in any organized athletics in it. I really missed it during those times and have continued to, in my post, in the time since college, have been in different leagues of tennis and this and that, just different things. I think it's great social and it's great also athletically.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah. And what do you think sports gave you? Like, how do you think sports helped you in your career, or what do you think some of the gifts that you got from playing sports?
Yeah, that's a great question. I've been thinking about that because, and reflecting, I played an individual sport, running, right? So even though you're running against other people, I think distance running especially, which was my area, is very individual. You're in your own head and can you make it? And then I played a team sport and they both provided very different things. I feel like the team sport benefits are more obvious, but it's, working with other people, knowing how to interact, to communicate, to work and have your contribution be part of a broader solution. And I think that's typical of any kind of team activity, sports especially, because it happens, in the here and now, and the implications of what you did or didn't do, and if you worked effectively or not, are very obvious in the moment in the game. On the individual sports, it was really different. It was, running was super self-reflective, and it produced a sense of endurance and strength as a young person, especially to be able to trust that in a difficult time, I could rely on, my own A, body, and B, mental toughness to be able to run that extra mile in a cross-country course or, whatever the case might be. But it was really about developing toughness in difficult situations. And I think it really produced a lot of the toughness that I've been able to rely on throughout my life, really.
Yeah, that's great. I totally get that with those individual sports, especially long distance running. There's that certain point where you're just like, I want to give up, and that toughness to go, like, I'm going to I'm going to keep going. And
yeah,
so, yeah,
it's
it's
the mental
amazing.
toughness.
Yeah, it's amazing when you think about all the things that you got from playing sports. And I know for me, I played so many different sports that they all gave me something different. So I really appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
And so with that, just kind of wrapping up, is there, anything else like, that any last words that you want to say about, what we're trying to do here and getting more kids playing sports, and about, because I really believe it takes a village. It takes all of us getting behind this. And with the pandemic, youth sports has been completely decimated. It's probably the only time really in the world that youth sports has completely been shut down. And so we've heard from a lot of families that have their kids in sports, and they're like, wow, I had no idea how much my kids were benefiting from this, but now that it's shut down. But just wondering if you had anything in closing.
Yeah, well, I totally agree about the importance of it and the hole that it leaves when it's missing. I think it produces a great social interaction with children that get to see people that are outside of their normal neighborhood, or broader, whether it's demographic or socioeconomic or what. But there's that element to interact with on a level playing field, people that you wouldn't normally, other children that you wouldn't normally. Yeah. And I think that's a big miss, in addition to all the athletic pieces of it. I also think that it's, talked about it a little bit before, what I think is so critically important about sports and sports activities is it's the real life consequences that might be part of the game, but really are very much what happens in life. And it's a way to learn have those kinds of experiences and learn those observe, maybe is the better way to say it, observe those kinds of implications where there's not a lot, in a very fun, enjoyable atmosphere where there's less at risk or less on the line, other than the sport itself. But there's not any as dramatic implications about missing a pass versus doing something in life. So it's critically important. I think it's great socially. It develops the kind of skills that are important for really the rest of their childhood and young adult life.
Yeah. Great. Well, thank you so much for giving your time today. I really appreciate it.
You're quite welcome. Good luck.